We meet the most interesting people and we see the most interesting things at the FlyInCruiseIn. And this year, we saw this old truck, a 1926 International. And I'm with Don Slagle. And Don is from Wabash, Indiana. And Don, you have a passion for these old trucks. Well, I know you have a whole fleet, but this particular truck you brought to the FlyInCruiseIn. And where did you find this truck?
My dad and a couple buddies of his were over at a show in Lima, Ohio, and I wasn't there, and I got a phone call from him that afternoon and said there's a truck over there that I needed. And the guy had a price on it, of course, and so I made him an offer on the phone and didn't expect him to accept it. And I got a call later that night about 10 o'clock and said, hey, you got a truck coming in the morning. So the guy even delivered it.
Well, Don, when you bought it, your original idea was to restore it?
That's what I was thinking till I seen it, and I'm going to leave it like it is for quite a while.
In 1926, 6-volt electrical system. I see it has lights. What are some of the other features on the truck?
Got the wood spokes, of course, which you can see, and the 6-volt system, which most of them was positive ground. This one does have a distributor, which some of the earlier ones just had a mag. 3-speed transmission. Everything's there, and like the fenders, they're not beat up. It hasn't been wrecked. There's no holes, rust holes in it. Very minor damage, and that's what people are amazed about the most, because usually something that old is all beat up and in bad shape.
Well, Don, you know, maybe you bought the truck thinking you'd restore it, but I think if people were to vote, they'd say leave it like it is.
Everybody I've talked to said just leave it alone, don't touch it. So I'm not going to.
Taking a look on the inside of your truck, I see there's a storage area, but there's something on the floorboard, Don. I hate to even ask you. I don't want to act stupid, but what is that thing?
I've had a lot of questions about that, but what that was, it was a heater. It was hooked up to the exhaust pipe and had a valve on it where you could either have it on or off. It isn't hooked up at this time.
But does it use water or electric?
No, just the exhaust off the motor.
Interesting. There's an original key in there, and then underneath there's a storage area under here.
Yes, and when I got that truck and put it in the shop there and started cleaning it out, the box springs wasn't on there. It was laying in the bed of the truck. But in the bottom of that was a couple international wrenches and a half a bottle of bourbon.
Those are the spare parts you got?
Yeah.
And you still got that bourbon?
I still got the bottle of bourbon, but I can't get any of my friends to try any of it.
We'd like to take a look at some of the other trucks in your fleet, and perhaps next year you'll bring us something else.
We can do that. I'd be glad to.
Okay. Taking a look at your entire fleet, Don, what drives your passion for these old trucks?
Starting with something that looks kind of rough and then seeing the finished product.
We're with the fleet right now. Tell us about the blue one here.
This is a 1917 Maxwell. It's a 1-ton model. It's a 3-speed also. Got that off of a good friend of mine also that helped me get started in this, and he had a stroke and bad health. It was in bad shape. The cab, I built it all new. It's an all-wood cab. All the wood's new in it. The bed's new, of course.
The headlights, those aren't electric.
No, those are gas lights, and I got a little LP gas tank on the side that is the original tank, and the burners are still in there, and they work.
Would this truck have had an electrical system?
No, this has got the magneto on it. There's no battery or nothing.
You got to crank it to start it?
Yes, sir.
What about this black one, Don?
This is a 1920 Model TT produce truck. The guy that owned this Maxwell found this for me, and this is how I kind of got started in the older trucks. He helped me get it, and I brought it home, and the wood and everything on that was completely rotten. The sheet metal was good on it though, and so it wasn't really that hard to restore, just making a new body.
Don, you're a woodworker.
Yep, I'm a contractor by trade. We remodel houses and build new homes and farm a little bit too on the side.
Two more trucks in the lineup right here. Don, I see an old Studebaker down there.
Yeah, that's a 1947 Studebaker, ton and a half. Got that from my dad here just Labor Day. That's been in the family all its life. My mom's uncle bought that new, and my dad bought it, he's had it several years, and he wanted it to stay in the family, so I acquired it, and we'll probably restore that one.
Tell us about the green one.
That's a 1919 Model TT also. I went to a farm sale to look at another item, and they had this truck there for sale too that wasn't even listed in the ad. Well, I ended up bringing it home. So I haven't done too much to that one. The motor was stuck. I freed the motor up, but that's one I can still drive and have fun in.
It all started with this 1929 Model A?
Correct. The 29 pickup truck Model A, that's the one I told you I got off a buddy of mine and had a little filling station. I've had it several years. He restored it himself 4 or 5 years before I bought it, and then, like I say, got in bad health. I haven't had to do too much to it. New radiator, tires, of course, but I have a lot of fun driving this one. I drive it quite a bit, like on a Sunday afternoon, and it cruises right down the road and runs good.
Don, you have several trucks, and I know they're all special to you. Do you have one that's an absolute favorite?
I've got one in the shed yet that's really special to me. Bought it probably 6-7 years ago. It's a 1926 Acme. It's a 5-ton, real heavy truck.
Don, you did a lot of detail work on that.
Yeah, I completely restored that one. Also, it had a cargo box on it when I bought it, and it was just about ready to fall apart. In fact, we about lost it on the way home with the semi. So I junked all that and built a new cab out of wood, wrapped the sides of the cab with aluminum, had guys paint it in, and of course I made a oak bed, what they call a stake bed, all new solid oak bed for it.
I see you did a lot of roll work with the metal.
Yeah, it was aluminum. It was easy to bend. It was just getting a hem on it. It wasn't all that bad.
Where did the truck come from?
I got that down at Crawfordsville.
By trade, you do this for a living.
I really enjoy the woodworking part of it.
Don, I noticed there was a young man with you at the FlyIn, and he's here today and helping you out on the farm. Who is this guy?
Chris Adam, he's my neighbor's boy, and he's been a lot of help over the last 3 or 4 years when I've just got to know him, and he really enjoys going to shows with me. He helps me load the trucks and strap them down and anything that I need done. And then there's always a chance, if they don't start, he helps me move them. Tickles me to death that he enjoys coming over to my place and hanging out with an old guy like me. And
Chris, we saw you at the FlyInCruiseIn. You got to ride in the old truck. That's pretty special. And how did you get interested in coming over here and hanging out with Don?
Well, my dad just kind of introduced him to me one day, and I don't know, he just had he only had like 1 or 2 when I first met him. So I just kind of thought that was the thing for me, and I just started hanging out with them.
Do you think maybe someday you might acquire an old truck and restore it?
I don't know about that. I think he's got it pretty mastered. He teaches me a couple tricks, I might be able to do it.
Don, we want to thank you for allowing us to come out and look at your fleet and get to know you a little bit. We're looking forward to you bringing us a truck every year to the FlyInCruiseIn.
Okay, I don't think that'll be a problem, and I appreciate you guys having interest in this stuff. I mean, it means a lot to me.